This is Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, the viewer's guide to genre television for the weeks of April 5th to May 1st, 2026. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Brent Barrett.
I'm Kevin Batchelder.
And I'm Wendy Hembrock.
And we are back after a bit of a break. Sorry for that. We had all sorts of scheduling conflicts and things, as we usually do as we're getting older in life, guys. You know, we're becoming, older. Things happen. Anyway, we do have a great announcement for you all. We have a contest. We've talked about this before, and thanks to all of you for using our Amazon link that we provide on our website. We've got some Amazon booty to give away, and we're letting you pick it again. This is our typical way of spending the Amazon loot now. We're going to have a first place and a second place winner. First place winner is going to be able to select up to $50 worth of Amazon genre-related items. That's all we ask is that it's connected to, sci-fi, fantasy, horror, genre stuff. And then the second place will be able to pick up to $30 worth of Amazon items. We'll order them for you and ship them to you. But look for details in the show notes. There'll be a contest post as well, and there's probably going to be a phrase or a keyword or something that later on in the show that you're going to have to tell us when you submit your entries. So, looking forward to those entries.
Yeah, it's always fun, and having done a few of these in the past, it's great to go back and forth with the winner or winners as they're kind of picking things to get up to the amount they have. And like I say, the only part of it is since we're using an Amazon gift card, it has to be an item that can be purchased from Amazon using a gift card, which often will include like streaming membership gift cards kind of thing. So if you're looking for that rather than a physical item, I'll be in touch. We'll see what we can work out. But, it'll be a bit of a shopping spree fun for the winners.
Who doesn't love a shopping spree? And we'd love to hear what people get, too. I don't think we've had people go on, clothing shopping sprees lately, inspired by genre. There's a lot of cool stuff on Amazon in that area.
There is, yeah, definitely. All trinkets and things, too. It doesn't have to be like Blu-rays or stuff. It could be anything, right? As long as it's genre-related. All right. Well, we do have a lot of stuff to cover, so I think we're going to head on over now to the spoiler-free water cooler.
Come in, relax at the Sci-Fi Diner Spa. Let the cares of the Galactic Empire drift away under the hands of one of our certified massage therapists. Has our favorite Gungan senator been annoying you?
Mr. Jar Binks, Mr. Your humble servant.
Let the fingers of one of our Twi'lek slave girls rub your frustration many parsecs away. Or perhaps you just found out that your father is a Sith Lord.
I am the father.
Our Wookiee massage therapists specialize in deep tissue massage. Send a holonet transmission to the Sci-Fi Diner Spa to make your appointment. The Sci-Fi Diner bears no responsibility should one of our Wookiees decide to go on a rampage and strew your guts from one end of the galaxy to the other due to frustration pent up against Palpatine and what happened on Kashyyyk.
First up on the water cooler, we have a ton of shows to give our quick reviews for. Those are Watch It Now, Watch It Soon, Let It Sit, or you can skip it. Covering the weeks of April 5th to May 1st, 2026. That's almost a whole month, guys. Pretty much is. All right, so we're starting out with Ghosts. This is the U.S. Ghosts, of course. I don't think the other ones are still in the air. But anyway, we have 4 episodes. All of Season 5. Episode 15, Michael Jackson Goes to HR. Episode 16, Woodstone Royale. And Episode 17, The Investor. And finally, Episode 18, Under New Management. And I did see all of these, and I'd give them a consistent watch it soon for all of them. I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were all pretty good. I'd go high watch it soon for the first, a couple of low watch it soons, and then a high watch it soon.
Yeah, I'm going to average them out like Brent and say they were all pretty solid watch it soon.
Yeah, it's easier when there's somebody to rate. I have some like Kevin coming up, though, where I break them down too. So, all right, moving on. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV, which I do have currently. I'm keeping up on it. 4 episodes, all in Season 2. Episode 7, String Theory. Episode 8, Separate Ways. Episode 9, Ends of the Earth. And Episode 10, the season finale, Where We Belong. I'm going to break these ones down. I'm going to say the first one, String Theory, I'm going to give a watch it now. Separate Ways, watch it soon. Ends of the Earth, I'm going to give a high watch it soon. And then the finale, I'm going to give a low watch it now.
All right, for me, I go low watch it now, high watch it soon, and then finish out with 2 low watch it nows.
Oh, I'm going to go more like Brent's. Definitely watch it now. Watch it soon, high watch it soon. And then low watch it now, watch it now.
Cool. Yeah, pretty close. All right. Invincible is the next show up. Only 3 episodes, but we did have a season finale. All of season 4, episode 6, You Look Horrible. Episode 7, Don't Do Anything Rash. Episode 8, Don't Leave Me Hanging Here, which again was the season finale. I would give them a watch it soon, then a watch it now, and I was kind of disappointed by the finale, but it was still good. I'd say watch it soon.
Not one I'm watching.
Yeah, I haven't seen this.
All right, we can talk about it on Discord, folks, if you're listening. All right, we have Daredevil, Born Again, the Disney Plus version of Daredevil. 4 episodes, all from season 2. Episode 4, Gloves Off. Episode 5, The Grand Design. Episode 6, Requiem. And episode 7, The Hateful Darkness. I'm going to give that first one a high watch it soon. The second one a high watch it soon. The third one a high watch it soon. But the most recent one a low watch it soon.
All right, and for me, I will go watch it soon. Very low watch it soon. High watch it soon, high watch it soon.
Yeah, and for me, I'm just going to give them all watch it soon.
It's easier that way.
Yeah, and that's been kind of my attitude
Economy
for the
of
whole
words.
season.
And well, this one I'm going to have to average 2 because we have 8 episodes of Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. There have only been 8 episodes. They're all in season 1. They're all chapter 1 through 8, and they're called The Dark Revenge, Sinister Schemes, Whispers in the Unknown, Pride and Vengeance, Inquisition, Night of the Hunted, Call to Oblivion, and The Creeping Fear. And I'm averaging them all out to actually a high watch it soon. I'm really enjoying this show.
Yeah, that's cool. I haven't watched it.
Brent, I am right there with you. I would give this show a high watch it soon as well. I was a little worried that it was only going to be 8 episodes, but I'm guessing it's 10.
It is.
Yay. And I love that they do 2 chapters at a time.
Yeah, that's nice. We also have The Boys. It's back for its 5th and final season. We have 5 episodes from season 5. Episode 1 is 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite. Episode 2 is Teenage Kicks. Episode 3 is Every One of You Sons of Bitches. Sorry for the language. Episode 4 is King of Hell. I was going to say King of the Hill. King of Hell. And episode 5 is One Shots. And I would give this one broken down ratings of the first one a high watch it soon. That would be the season premiere. Then it goes to a watch it soon. Then it goes back up to a high watch it soon for the remaining 3 episodes. I love them.
All right, for me, I've got watch it soon across the first 4, and then the latest was a high watch it soon.
I'm watch it soon across the board.
Again, it's easier that way. We understand. All right, we have the premiere of Stranger Things, Tales from 85, Season 1 on Netflix. This is the animated version of Stranger Things voiced by people that are not the cast of Stranger Things. But it's placed back in 85, which is between some seasons. I did watch it, and I actually really enjoyed it. I think it had kind of a rocky start, but it got really good by the end. I'd say high watch it soon.
Hey, glad to hear that. I've been kind of waiting to hear from some folks. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet either, so I'm glad to hear that, Brent. I might be able to find time to start checking it out.
Awesome. We might talk about it in the back porch, but you guys haven't seen it, so I might be really like spoiler light in that one. Okay, we also have The Miniature Wife, Season 1. This was one on Peacock. I started to watch this, but I haven't watched enough to really genuinely rate it, so I'm going to not rate right now.
All right, I think Wendy and I might have a discussion of it on the back porch. Overall, I'll give it a very solid watch it soon.
I'm right there with you, Kevin. Watch it soon.
And we also had on Netflix One Piece Season 2, and I have not yet watched this, so I can't rate it.
Yeah, I got caught up on the back half of this season, which, dropped several weeks back, but did want to catch folks up. And I'll talk a little bit in the back porch, too. But I would say, as far as the overall for the whole season of Season 2 for me, I'd say it just ticks up into the high watch it soon.
Awesome. Good to hear.
Nice. I didn't watch it, and I'm not going to.
All right. We also have a TV movie, a genre TV movie on Hulu that kind of snuck up on us. Kevin heard about it and let us know. It's called Mike and Nick and Alice. Apparently it has some time travel in it. I know it does because I saw it. I would give it a watch it soon.
Yeah, I'd probably go high watch it soon. This one kind of, sometimes comedy hits different for folks. I really enjoyed this one.
I haven't seen it yet.
And to be clear, it's not a comedy. It has some comedic bits, but it's more of an action crime sort of movie, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Throw every genre of movie in there. It's probably that.
And I think that's why we'll chat about that later. Because yeah, it does. It's taking a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and a little bit from there with several actors you recognize. Throw it all together.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. We're going to start out here with some, we're going to get to some links and news, but first we have a voicemail. This is from Scott in Cape Cod, and he wants to talk about Wendy's Tuner Minute about that one perfect season.
Regarding Wendy's Tuner Minute about the perfect season of sci-fi TV, I will start by saying that certainly there is no perfect season of any show, but I have three that come to mind as being as close to perfect as possible. Number 3 would be Firefly, and it's number 3 only because it was so short-lived. Number 2 would be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a great show for all its years, I think. And of course, you know my number 1 for all time would be Person of Interest. It's a good topic for discussion, though.
Hey, thanks, Scott. I don't think Firefly counts. I was really thinking about shows that had more than one season, but definitely a solid season for that show. I knew you were going to say Person of Interest. I would be curious if it was which season was the perfect one, but thanks again. We appreciate you for playing.
Kind of cheating and chickening out there, Scott, by going with whole shows, though. We really wanted one perfect season, though. You didn't call out seasons, but we appreciate your response. And I don't disagree with your shows either.
Yeah, that's the thing. If we step back and look at shows that he might have thought towards the perfect side, those are certainly excellent candidates, all of them.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Scott. We're going to give you some articles and things that we think you might be interested in if you haven't heard about them already. First up, some really good news, I think, for me, since I'm the only one who's seen it. Stranger Things Tales from 85 has been renewed. I don't know if they're going to do another month of 85 or another week, or they're going to Tales of 86 or what they're doing, but it is coming back this fall. And, you know, given the large turnaround time on animation, I think this kind of proves my theory that they initially ordered more than one season. They probably ordered more than 2. We'll find out as soon as season 2 comes around and premieres and they announce that season 3 has been renewed. But we'll see. But I'm glad it's coming back. It'll be this fall.
Yeah, even though I haven't seen this, when I saw this news item, at first I'm like, oh, it must be doing really good in the ratings. And then I read, and when it's going to be, and as you said, with the animation, the time needed, I'm like, okay, yep, this is definitely one of Brent's things. They had ordered at least 2.
How many episodes were in the first season?
Was 8? I can't remember now. I'd have to go look it up.
That's okay. Rough numbers, good. 8 is good for a show like that, I think.
Yeah. Look forward to it. All right. We have another item here that Kevin's going to talk about where MGM Plus has renewed a series that we're not watching.
Yeah, that's kind of the lead in. I'm like, here's some news about the show From, but none of the three of us are watching it. But obviously it's doing well because link in the show notes, press release talks about the fact that they have renewed it for a 5th season. The 4th one just started 10 days or so ago from the time we were recording. But the 5th will be the final. But it's also noted that this is the most watched show on MGM Plus. And several comments in the press release about how much folks are enjoying it. So if you're more on the sci-fi horror side, then this is probably something that's worth a look for you, folks. You're going to end up with a total of 5 seasons. Lots of good content there.
Yeah, that's great news. Every time I go to Dragon Con, somebody tells me that From is a great show. I had a chance to watch it when I had a brief MGM Plus subscription to watch I think it was called Station 37 with Lena Headey, but I didn't. I think that was back in season 1, maybe. So I've always known about this show and that it had good word of mouth. So I'm glad that it's their highest rated show. Hopefully it'll jump to some other source so I can see it.
Yeah, with all the hype and the renewal for 5th season, I'm going to have to really dig deeper and see if I have access to MGM stuff. I don't think I do, but yeah, I'm right there with you, Wendy. I hope they put it somewhere where I can see it. All right, and with all that good news, we have some bad news that Wendy's going to share.
Yeah, so Gen V, the spinoff from The Boys, had a season 2, and that's going to be the end of it for them, which kind of makes sense if you've been watching The Boys currently. However, the showrunners say that some of the characters will appear in other things that are coming in the VOT universe. Hopefully that means that might be spoilers for how The Boys ends. I'm not sure, but I will give a spoiler from how season 2 ended. There had been a big showdown between two of the most powerful characters that were sort of against each other, but maybe resolved a little bit. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this show. I'm not sure how much more of it there would have been given what's happening in The Boys mothership storyline, though. So maybe I'm just going to appreciate what we had and not really lament what more we might have had.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It kind of makes sense. And I did enjoy Gen V a bit more than The Boys, so I'm kind of sad about that. But maybe we'll get more of their characters appearing here in the final season of The Boys than we've had before. That would be a good way to at least say goodbye. But like you said, the showrunner saying they might be in some more VOT universe stuff. But I'm going to be very curious after the end of this Boys series finale what the VOT universe is going to look like.
Yeah, well, I know they've got the spinoff coming with Soldier Boy. So maybe they're talking about putting them in there somehow. I don't know, because I'm not looking at the details of that plot yet. But yeah, like both my co-hosts here, I enjoyed Gen V a bit more than The Boys. But where the story was at makes sense that it would end kind of here. So, and the fact The Boys is ending too. So this is one of those, okay, I guess it makes sense. But I did enjoy it. It's certainly one I'd recommend to folks if you like this, very raw take on the superhero side of things. Because much like The Boys, it's, got lots and lots of
sex and gore. Come on, you can say it.
Blood and gut. Yeah, I was going to say all aspects of that. So it's there. But I'm bummed we won't have more of it, but understand why.
All right. I've got a link here about a trailer for a new Punisher short series, I'll call it, maybe. The Punisher One Last Kill. It's a trailer. It's going to come May 12th on Disney+. And it looks like, as usual, Frank is just trying to tell everybody to leave him alone, leave him quiet. But he gets pulled into stuff, as he always does, according to this trailer. There's some kind of anarchy on the streets, too. I don't know really what that's about, but maybe we'll learn more about that by the time Daredevil ends, because this will pick up right after Daredevil ends this season. The good news is John Bernthal co-wrote and executive produces this Punisher series. I'm calling it a series. I don't know how long it's going to last, but you know what I mean. That's good, because he seems to really be good for the character. He understands the character, and I've enjoyed his time as the Punisher quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to it. May 12th.
Yeah, the trailer looked excellent, and I caught as well, as you said, his involvement in more than just being on screen. So that leads a lot of interest for me, certainly there. I mean, I think this is only a movie, but I'm not certain either, and maybe that's open-ended. I guess we'll have to wait to see, but definitely one I'm very much looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, this was a really interesting trailer. It's coming a lot sooner than I thought it would be also. Love John Bernthal as this character, so definitely looking forward to this one.
So yeah, looking it up, it is Punisher One Last Kill appears to be one TV special, so basically a TV movie. So that's cool. I wanted a series, but actually a good sign in my mind, because you know how I think about these former Netflix shows, how they drag the story out. If it's condensed into basically a movie length, it might be really cool.
Yeah, and if they're able to have enough story, I mean, it doesn't mean they can't do another movie or two. And this, so I'd much rather have some really good, crisp storytelling, even if it's shorter. Certainly for this universe that we've seen here, the Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, some of these ones have really had some great stuff in them and a lot of other fluffy stuff on the edges.
Yeah, if they did a series of movies, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe they should do that with all of them from now on, all the street level stuff like Daredevil and everything. Just do a series of movies. That would be better. Okay, well, Kevin, you've got some information about One Piece.
I do. Paying closer attention now since I've watched the first 2 seasons and looking forward to the upcoming third. And what they've announced is that let us know a couple of different things for the One Piece fans. They've given us the title for the season and also let us know that there's going to be an animated Lego special coming up this fall. So if you really want to go deep in the universe, keep an eye out for that in the fall. But One Piece, it's a continuing story as we watch the journey of our team here. So it's no surprise that based on some of the events of season 2 that for season 3, they've got it titled One Piece, The Battle of Alabasta. So the good thing, too, timing-wise, because this show naturally has a lot of visual effects and other things, is coming in 2027. So not all that long after we've got this most recent season that dropped there. If you follow the link in the show notes, you'll see a little more of a log line, a couple sentences describing, some of the characters you're going to see, because this is a show, for those who aren't aware, very much a feast for the eyes. They really, the characters are big and outlandish, and the costuming is very special, and that's part of the fun. So great to see they've got some things lined up, and it won't be, forever till we get a chance to see it.
That's fun that they're doing the Lego special treatment. Those are fun. So that's cool. And they're obviously committed to this property. So that's cool.
I really got to catch up. I want to watch it.
I think you would enjoy it, Brent.
Yeah, I think I will too. I just need to find the time and remember. All right. Well, a show that Wendy, I think, is enjoying, House of Dragon. She's got some news.
Yeah, we'll have a link in the show notes to, they call it a teaser, but it's a pretty significant trailer for House of the Dragon Season 3, which is coming back on June 21st, so not long for us to be getting back into that world. It is war, it is fire and blood, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Very cool. That is the one, as everybody who's been listening to the podcast knows, that I didn't watch. Watched Game of Thrones and, of course, watched Night of the Seven Kingdoms, enjoyed that, but that middle one just didn't have much interest for me, but glad that it's continuing and the fans are enjoying it.
Yeah, I did check out the teaser. It's... I can see the interest. I can't say I'm watching it either, but I definitely get for those who are why. This looks pretty cool, coming up very soon, as Wendy said.
And our small council will be talking about it too. I don't know if we're going to do a pre-game show. We might, but June is not far off.
Excellent. Okay, well, moving on again. I've got some information here and a link to a Star Trek Strange New World Season 4 teaser. This is coming out July 23rd on Paramount Plus. We're seeing dinosaurs, space phenomena, and it looks like the TOS crew is appearing more and more and getting more screen time as we near the end of the Strange New Worlds timeline and towards the beginning of the TOS original series timeline. We're seeing some of that. So we're seeing some Scotty and, Spock and Kirk and that sort of stuff together. Sadly, this may also mean, we know we only have, I think, one more season after this. Short season, very short season. That this means we're getting close to possibly losing a couple of our major characters, because there are major characters on Strange New Worlds that we never heard of post, TOS or post. They might be going away. That might mean death. That might mean also something else. They just vanish into the background or go somewhere else. But we're going to have some of that happen probably because we have to say goodbye to them. So I'm not looking forward to that. We might get some of that in this season. I suspect it's all going to come in the final season, though.
Yeah, it was great to get some content. Again, it's only a teaser, so looking forward to a full trailer. Glad we got a date later this summer. That's excellent. Didn't want to have to wait too long. Very curious, since season 3 had some bumps, whether or not they realized that and adjusted, or we're going to have some experimentation that, didn't quite go as well as the first 2 seasons. But I'm still very positive, very much looking forward to it. As Brent said, so many characters that were introduced here in this one, and the ones, like as he said, that are leading into TOS. So very excited to be having this back this summer.
Well, the trailer was very promising in terms of story for this season. I think we should do a prediction round for characters dead or promoted to figure out why they might not appear in the TOS.
Ooh,
Dead or promote?
good idea. Dead or promote. Isn't that the same thing? I'm just kidding. Promoted to the afterlife. Anyway. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Kevin. The showrunners did say that they were aware of the problems they had in season 3, so crossing my fingers, holding my breath. Okay, Kevin, you've got a teaser for a new show that I think we mentioned a long time ago called The Burrows.
Yes, I do. Link in the show notes if you haven't seen it yet, folks. This is a show we've been touching on. This one, The Burrows, is coming. The biggest kind of, I don't know if I want to say draw, but for familiarity for folks is the fact that we've got the Duffer Brothers from Stranger Things, executive producers here. So this is a show coming to Netflix. Link in the show notes to what is a teaser that's coming on May the 21st, so very soon here, just a couple of weeks from when we're recording. Several recognizable faces for the actor side of things. As far as the story, I'll read the sentences here in the video. It's been, kind of close to the vest in terms of what this might be about, but what we're showing here is it says, quote, in a seemingly picturesque retirement community, a group of unlikely heroes must band together to stop an otherworldly threat from stealing the one thing they don't have, time, ... So, several faces you'll recognize, well-known actors, Duffer Brothers behind it. Looking forward to it. No idea what it might be like, but I guess we're going to find out.
So when I saw this, I immediately thought of a movie from back in the 80s, and I don't remember the name of it. I believe
Cocoon?
it began with yes, Cocoon. With, I think it had Ad Asner in it, and had all these very iconic
Wilford Brimley
older
and
acts. Yeah.
Don Amici and yeah.
Yep. And that's what it made me think of immediately. These people are arguably a lot younger than that. Some of them aren't, but Bill Pullman, well, maybe he's in his 70s. Gina Davis isn't, I don't think of her as retirement community, but got a great cast. So I'd be interested to check it out. And it's coming in May, so coming soon.
Gina Davis is 70 years old, Wendy.
Wow. I would not have guessed that.
What's really weird is there's this phenomenon people have talked about where people in the past have looked older than they do today. People look younger now. So I think people in the Cocoon were in their 50s when they did that movie.
No way.
Yeah.
No, Jessica Tandy, there was no way she was in her 50s.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
But they really make them up, shall we say. But
yeah,
yes,
that's true. Yeah,
that's part
true.
of it too, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I do like this concept. Go ahead, Wendy.
Well, no, I was just going to say, and given the love of the Duffer Brothers with all things from the 80s, that was the other reason why Cocoon came to my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love the idea that they've had where they did one whole iconic show with school kids. Now let's do an iconic show of a similar type with retirees. I think it's just really kind of cool to give both ends of this a bookend thing. It looks fun. And it's coming up very quickly in May, so I'm going to be watching. Okay, Wendy, we're going to say goodbye to a show that we like, Good Omens.
Yep, we are going to get to say goodbye to Good Omens on May 13th, so not too long ago, not too long in the future. And we've got a link to the trailer, the official trailer, which I didn't even need to see, honestly, because I just loved the actors who play the two leads and the story. So I'm all in for watching it and hoping that we get a delightful conclusion.
I am right there with you. You didn't even just take my money. You didn't need to give me a trailer. I've really enjoyed Good Omens every season, every episode, and these characters are amazing, and the universe is just really fun. So where it ended last season, I definitely want to see where it goes in this final season. So really excited.
Yeah, this is one I have not seen yet. I know both of you have been telling me you think it'd be up my alley, and others have mentioned that. And when I look at the trailer, I'm like, man, this definitely looks like it could be good. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get caught up by the time this final season drops, but it is one that's definitely higher on my I need to catch up on list.
Yeah. It's worth it when you get around to it. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about that movie we mentioned in the quick reviews, where we talked about Mike and Nick and Alice. There is a trailer link we have here for you. And as mentioned by Kevin and I when we were saying, well, pretty much everything, there's time travel is an established premise in this. And it even, I'm not going to spoil it, but time travel is part of it. And there is action, there is comedy, there's crime, there's, gangster stuff going on. There's a little bit of John Wick sort of stuff going on. So it's got pretty much everything you can imagine in this movie. It's a really fun watch. I gave it a watch it soon because I was entertained by it, but I didn't think it was anything like amazing, but it was really fun to watch, and I might watch it again someday.
Yeah, Brent and I will talk a little bit more spoilery back porch, but this is one of those kind of surprise ones when the trailer, I don't know, showed up on my YouTube feed or something, and I didn't realize it had genre in it, but it was another of the, straight to streaming, so you always kind of like, oh, okay, this can't be that great kind of thing, certainly based on history. But I'm like, it's got a bunch of people I recognize and know, and then I started watching the trailer, saw it was genre, and said, okay, it's probably worth a look, and I was pleasantly surprised. So yeah, looking forward to talking a little more. And like you said, it certainly is one that, I might rewatch for that reason. It had some good, funny stuff.
Well, I'm glad to hear this. It definitely was not on my radar when Kevin shared it. And for it being kind of a one-off, that means it can more easily fit into my schedule. So it's noted and on the list.
Yep. Any evening where you want to just relax and watch something and sip something?
Yep.
Perfect.
Turn your brain off kind of thing. Yep.
All right. Kevin, you've got some news about Silo.
Yes, Silo, Apple TV show, for those who may not be aware. Season 3 is coming on July the 3rd, and they've dropped a teaser for that season, 45 seconds or so. Interesting. Wendy knows a lot more. She has seen the show, so I have not. It's one that she has recommended, I know, and it's kind of on my Apple TV watch list, something to get to that I haven't yet. But this, trailer's got some interesting tidbits, kind of plays a lot of it going backwards, which must have something to do with the story, so I don't know there. But again, if you're a fan, good to know, middle of summer there, just before 4th of July, they're going to bring this one back.
Yeah, so Kevin mentioned this teaser is sort of a if you know, because the reason why they did things backwards in slow motion was because of something revealed at the end of season 2 that it appears we're going to dive further into in season 3. And I thought it was cool. I did have a little bit of post-Paradise burn, though, because I was like, oh, we better not spend too much time in the before times, but we'll see. I have high confidence in Solo. I really enjoyed season 1, and season 2 I thought was even better. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm so happy it's coming so soon.
Oh, very cool. Now having Apple TV for a while until my wife decides she's done with it. I might check it out. Okay. Wendy, you've got some news about the Vampire Lestat.
Yeah. So, another streaming service that I think none of us have is AMC Plus. And, although with all the shuffling that's going on, I don't know if it's bundled in with stuff now, that makes it easier for people to get it. But, we have a link to the Vampire Lestat official trailer, and it will debut in a little over a month, June 7th. And it's a fun trailer. It was very intriguing because it sort of reinterprets the story from the what's her name? Anne Rice novels. I loved the song that they chose to use. It seemed very appropriate. And, this is historical fiction, fundamentally, besides being vampires. So that's always fun for me because that means you have some rich production and nods to history and culture and stuff. But like I said, I don't have AMC Plus, so I won't be watching it, but I think there's some folks on Discord who will be. And hopefully we'll be excited about it.
And hopefully you can share that with us, maybe in a voicemail or something, their excitement. That'd be awesome. I also can't watch it right now because I don't have the access to AMC Plus. I don't think. I need to double check. Maybe I got it in some bundle like you're talking about and I just forgot or didn't realize it. I hope so. But the trailer looks like it might be interesting, but it also looks like the kind of show I probably won't like because it looks like there's a lot of just dragging out stuff based on the trailer. But, because trailers always try to give you the best stuff. And I'm watching this trailer and I'm going, I don't know. But again, folks on Discord who are really into this whole, Anne Rice universe stuff that they're doing on AMC will let us know.
Yeah, the three of us are in a similar spot. Having watched the trailer for this and a couple of the other ones that are part of that universe and on that channel doesn't grab me big to go watch it. So it's not one I'll be watching, but I do know there's some folks who are talking those up on our Discord and other spots and enjoying it. So it's not like it's tanking or anything.
All right. Well, moving on. I've got a link here to a article about the premiere date being set for the show Lanterns. This is the DC Universe new Green Lantern show that is more kind of a grounded show. It's street level superhero drama. It's focused more on crime solving, it looks like, than like epic adventures or supernatural or superhuman powers or anything like that. Although they did show up in the teaser that we talked about a while back. Like I said, it's going to be on HBO Max Plus, whatever they're calling it these days. It's going to be on Sunday, April 16th is the premiere. I'm sorry, August 16th. Wow. April 16th. I'm going backwards in time. August 16th, Sunday. And I'm cautiously optimistic because I really like Green Lantern and I really like, the whole Lantern Corps, mythos or lore or whatever. So I'm cautiously optimistic. The reason I say that is just because if it's really very drama-y and street level, I don't know if it's going to appeal to me because, those long drawn out, I talked about the Netflix shows for Marvel. Those don't really, they're not exciting in the middle. There's only bits of it that are exciting and I'm hoping for more. I mean, I like my superhero stuff to be, action packed. And it doesn't look like this is going to be action packed. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm going to be on the sidelines when it initially drops. Doesn't mean I may not watch it based on comments from Brent or from others, but it's not one I've got an attachment to. And the teaser that we got, it didn't make me go, wow, I got to see this. So, I will be paying attention.
Yeah, I guess I'm in a similar boat. I like the two leads. I'm hoping it sort of surprises me the way Punisher did. Not Punisher, Peacemaker, excuse me. And there's more to it than this trailer because it looks like a buddy cop show to me more than anything. And it's tough with lanterns. I really think animation is probably the best way to do lanterns because of the complexity of space, aliens. But I'll at least give it a try because I have HBO.
Yeah, same here. I'll watch it because I have HBO. And Wonder Man on Disney Plus did not look like the kind of show I would like for a superhero show. But by the end, I thought it was pretty good. So there's hope.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Kevin, Ghosts, go.
Yeah, well, all of us, the three of us certainly are enjoying Ghosts. Many folks in our listening community and on Discord do. So we got kind of one of those good news, bad news things as far as the upcoming fall TV schedule for Ghosts. It is not, even though it's coming back, it's not going to be on the fall schedule. They're going to hold it for what's referred to as winter, which could be any time from January on, which is kind of a bummer to hear timing-wise. But what they did say we are going to get, we're not going to have to wait till that time not to have some new Ghost content, because we are going to get 1 hour specials for both Halloween and for Christmas. So sometime around those dates, shortly before, we should have as we said, a kind of like a double episode for Ghosts, which isn't all bad because they've had some fun with holiday ones before. So this, like I say, was definitely kind of a good news, bad news, but maybe just, okay, going to be a little different. And just means we, look forward to a ton of Ghost content, come 2027.
I love it. I think that Ghost does the holiday-themed episodes really well, so I'm glad that they're going to make that work.
Yeah, I'm happy to get more of it. I'm glad the show is continuing. They do say in the article spring, and I guess that means March, April, May timeframe is when they're going to premiere this next season. So, yeah, I'm glad they're getting 22 episode order next season, so it's not like they're slowly trying to kill the show. They're still behind it. That's good news. Contest clip time. In this clip, tell us what Homelander tells Firecracker she needs to do.
You're supposed to worship me. Love me. And me alone.
I do.
I believed in you. Turns out, you don't believe in me. I need you to collect your things and leave.
All right. Wendy, you got some news about Alien Earth.
Yes, Alien Earth is coming back. Season 2 will actually begin production in the summer. And one of the people that they've announced is joining the cast is somebody I love from Game of Thrones, Peter Dinklage. No statement about what his character role is in the show, but he's got so much range. Funny, menacing, crazy. I don't care what he does. He'll be good. So I'm looking forward to it. And after I had read this article, I followed one to the showrunner talking further about a change that we'll have for season 2. Season 1 was filmed in Thailand, and season 2 is going to be filmed in Pinewood Studios back in the London area, which is very exciting for the show because that's where all the Alien movies were made, and there's actually people that were involved in. Some of them are the offspring of people involved in the movies that are involved in the production. So they're kind of going back to their roots, which will be really interesting. And the showrunner, Noah Hawley, made a very interesting comment about how the first season is the proof of concept, and then season 2, you have to come up with your sustainable model. So that's not just the story, but the budget too. So that was very promising to read that. I'm definitely looking forward to more of this show.
Yeah, that's cool to learn about the move to Pinewood and all that stuff. I cannot wait for the show to come back. I really, really enjoyed Alien Earth. And I'm hearing a scoop. I'm getting a scoop right now, Wendy. Peter Dinklage is going to be in prosthetics, and he's going to be a very small xenomorph.
Oh, interesting.
No, he's not. It's a
Okay.
joke. I didn't think you would take that seriously.
Oh, no. I know how you like spoilers, Brent, so you suckered me in.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a show. It's funny. I've been thinking more about this show. Excuse me. I want to do a rewatch of season 1 once we start to get a little firmer on when season 2 might be coming, because it was such thought-provoking stuff. I mean, lots of cool visuals and stuff, but they did a really good job setting the story up. So the fact that the showrunner there is really got some serious thoughts about what the next steps are, and the fact it's not just more of the same, I think bodes well for us getting some really fascinating stuff.
I want some more of the same, though. I want new stuff,
well,
too.
It's got, hey, come on, alien xenomorphs. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to go hanging out in the library together, but I'm just saying, it's going to have some new stuff, I think, which...
Season 2, Predator Earth. They're in the same universe, guys.
They are.
All right. Well, I've got one last article here before we round out the articles. And that is about Wednesday, the TV show, not the day of the week. Season 3. We got a first look photo and casting recap link. And it's a photo of Wednesday in character. So, near the Eiffel Tower in Paris. So she's apparently traveling to France for some reason. But it was released by Netflix officially. It did end, if you recall, season 2 with Wednesday and Thing riding off with Uncle Fester to go look for her roommate, who is missing. Let's put it that way. I won't give you more details than that. We do have some new casting details that might have talked about before, but Eva Green, I know we talked about her, is going to be on the show as Aunt Ophelia. Obviously Wednesday's aunt, her mother's sister. Plus, we also got Winona Ryder, Lena Headey, Andrew McCarthy, James Lance, Chris Sarandon, Noah Taylor, Oscar Morgan, and Kennedy Moyer, who are in undisclosed roles. Filming for this show did begin in February for this season. So we don't have a premiere date, but I think we can probably assume it's going to be around Halloween, because that seems to be the pattern now for the show. So expect it around October sometime. That's what I'm expecting. It's not printed here, but I'm expecting that. So I'm looking forward to it. I love this show.
Yeah, this show's been fantastic. And the additional cast members, I mean, my goodness, it's already such a strong cast. And adding folks like the ones you mentioned, wow. I mean, my fingers are crossed, Brent, because I would love it if it came back this year. They've had long production times in the past. So, hopefully they can pull off their special visual effects and everything else since they're already shooting by that. I mean, the season makes such perfect sense. So here's hoping.
Yeah, this looks awesome. Going to Paris will be really interesting. I think there's a lot of opportunity for hijinks and humor, putting Wednesday in the city of love. And I'm always looking forward to this show. I, too, would be expecting it to be coming back, around the Halloweenish time. So hopefully they will make my wish come true.
Yeah, if they began filming in February, I think they're probably done shooting a Netflix season by now. Now, they might be shooting 2 seasons at once, but they should have the season 3 stuff in the can, I would hope. And then they have all this time to spend on effects. So I'm still shooting for Halloween 2026, Kevin.
Again, fingers crossed. That would be great.
All right. Before we let you go out of the water cooler completely, we have a Tuner Minute as always. And I mean always. We will always have one. Don't you dare think we won't. This one is recorded by Kevin, and it's entitled, Let It Go.
This Tuner Minute idea comes to us courtesy of one of our listeners, Jay from Massachusetts. Jay's curious about how we all look at our shows and whether or not we can actually let them go once they've completed their story. So I guess we'd kind of look and say, doesn't matter if maybe they were cut short only after a season or two, or maybe a show ran a little longer than it should have. Putting those ideas aside, if you get a show and they're able to tell their story, however short or long, are you able to then let it go literally and not have to keep pining or hoping for some type of return, or shall we say reimagining, reboot? How often are you able to just accept that it was what it was and you enjoyed it for what it was, but that's all you ever needed?
Well, this is an interesting question. The only show that I could not let it go, and I have to admit when I saw that Tuner Minute, I immediately was thinking of that song, was Firefly. Firefly, that's how I started listening to podcasts, because I went to find people listening talking about Firefly on The Signal, and it's the only fan fiction I ever wrote. I wrote one fan fiction of Firefly, and I can't even remember what the story was. So that one was definitely one that I did not let go of easily. That's really the only one, I think.
Yeah, with me, Kevin, you did emphasize, I think, in the Tuner Minute, you were saying if the show was able to tell its story and end well, no matter how short it was, or able to let it go. Obviously, we all had a problem with Firefly going, but it never had a chance to tell its story. And I think in general, to answer your question in general, I let them go. I don't really linger and mope or do things or become an activist or something. I don't typically do that. There's only one show where I didn't do that, and that was Farscape, and that was because they promised us a season 5 and they stole it from us, and that pissed me off. So it's the only one where I was like, no, because they didn't get a chance to tell their story either. But every show that's had a chance to tell its story and come to a conclusion, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a great example. We talked about that earlier. Yeah, I was fine with that. I would have loved more seasons of it. Absolutely. I'd love it to be on today. But I was fine with it. I let that one go. There are a multitude of shows, that never had the chance, that I was very upset about. Dark Matter being one of them. that I got upset about for a little while, but then I just said, yeah, whatever. It's not coming back. Nothing I can do about it. So yeah, when they finish their season or finish their storytelling, I should say, yeah, I'm pretty good at letting it go.
Yeah, and I think as you two kind of talk through this a bit, that Jay was kind of referring to that idea that if they're able to tell their story, is that always enough as a viewer? I mean, doesn't mean it has to have had a perfect ending or closed all the loops, tied everything in a bow, but this, had a satisfying ending. Does that mean you can be, okay, great, and just mentally move on? Or do you have a show when you get that story, you just like, I can't leave these characters alone. I got to have more of them. And I guess Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you guys brought up as an excellent example. I also think of a show like Grimm. Very well done. We all enjoyed it. They did, I thought, a very good job. There's supposed to be a second coming of it. It's been for quite a while out there. I don't know if that's still happening or not. But it's not like I felt like I needed to have it. I'm like, oh, that could be good. I'd be fine. I mean, Buffy was another example that got, actually shot a pilot for a new edition, shall we say. But Buffy had a full story. Doesn't mean I wouldn't have loved to have more of it. I'd certainly revisit it. But I wasn't pining for more of it, so to speak. I was enjoying what it was there. So that's interesting. I mean, as the guy who's gotten involved in some of these campaigns, sometimes that's just that love of it and not wanting to let the love go. Not that I can be okay letting the show go, but oftentimes it's the fandom and the people around it. And that's a way to keep it alive and keep some of those relationships going too. So sometimes can you separate the show from what gets built around it, whether it's your fandom with it or your love of it. So appreciate Jay throwing out an idea for us. And we always welcome those folks. In case you've got something you think might be a good question or topic for a Tuna Minute, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. I think it also depends on whether you like how the story concluded. There's plenty of Game of Thrones fans who'd like to have a word because they didn't love how the story ended, partially because the story hasn't been ended by the author. As you were talking, Kevin, I was thinking of two shows. One was Evil, which I loved that show and I loved those characters, and I'm not pining for them, but they're sort of like neighbors who left the area. Maybe they moved to another place, and if they came back to visit, I would love to see them. So great question. Thank you.
Kevin, as you were talking about Buffy, it dawned on me, Buffy and Supernatural have something in common. They both had two stories that finished. Buffy is supposed to end at season 5 and then went on to 7. Supernatural also, by the end of season 5, was a perfect ending, and then it went on for much longer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, that's an example maybe of getting more of the show after it concluded. Both of them, both Buffy and Supernatural. So
yeah,
cool.
And that's rare. That's rare, but those are great examples of that, where yes, they did intentionally have very much an end, but making too much money, I think, in both cases. So for the network, it had to come back, and at least it came back in good ways. Okay, that we all know there've been shows
Supernatural. Well, maybe.
And I didn't stay on board for all
returns.
of it. Yeah, but there was still a lot of fun in there. I mean, that was definitely a case of enjoying spending time with the characters, even if the storytelling around it wasn't near as sharp or engaging. And I did. I dropped off and came back multiple times after season 5 with Supernatural, but it was by choice. I was like, okay, these guys are still here. I got, maybe not as much on my viewing schedule, and I come back in because I want to spend time with them.
The neighbors are still sitting on the back of their car in their driveway. You can go over there and talk to them whenever you want. Yeah.
I guess they didn't like their new place and came back.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that in the back porch. Anyway. That's it for the Tuner Minute, guys. Let us know what you thought or what you think. We have a whole channel on our Discord where people talk about the Tuner Minute and what they think. So go there or send us a voicemail or send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Now we're going to head over to that spoiler-filled back porch we talked about. Today we talk about Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, Stranger Things, Tales from 85, One Piece, The Miniature Wife, The Boys, and Mike and Nick and Alice. First up on the back porch, Wendy's going to kick off a discussion of Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
Yeah, and I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights a little bit. The main thing that this season did, they definitely responded to the fan feedback about not enough Titans and monsters, because we had them every single episode. They were very much the story as well, so they did a great job with that. We also had some interesting character development. To me, the thing that was kind of the most interesting was Kate having this connection with Titan X, and she and her grandma tapping into the sonographic song of the Titan, and being able to capture that, record that, so that they could try to lead it back to I'll call it the main portal. They called it Grand Central Station in the show. In the backstory, we learned that, Billy had gone to all these portals all over the place, and he had, every time he found one, he threw a capsule in, and they all ended up in the same place on Skull Island. So Skull Island is sort of the Grand Central to the Axis Mundi. We also found that, Kong might be not necessarily the enemy of all the other Titans, but the protector of the portal, and is, maybe just not that great at how he tries to control who comes in and out. And then we have Kentaro wanting to go back to Axis Mundi to find Hiroshi, because Hiroshi was there for a year, and he wants to basically bring his father back, another timeline version of him. And that's not a great idea. Of course, that's causing a schism with his sister. And that's actually the setup to go into season 3. Shaw, it looks like they've resolved pretty much everything between Shaw and Kate at this point, in terms of their romantic story. Keiko learns that, Shaw was there at the same time as her, and the future Shaw had told the one that was stuck, don't interact with her, because he knew that by never having found her, she was successfully found later, and he didn't want to break up the timeline, potentially cause a problem. So I'm not sure if that will come back again, but I don't think so. It felt like Keiko and Shaw basically resolved to their own choices by the end of the season. The finale had a wild fight going on between Kong and the Titan. But once they released the egg from the bunker, Mommy went for her egg and gave up on fighting Kong. But she was lost on the island, so they had to lead her, in this connection between Kate was able to lead her back into and prove that the Titans can open the portals, which it did. So that was all cool. I mean, I very much liked that this season it introduced new information and resolved things pretty well. I continue to like the characters a lot. And I'm going to be curious about what they did set up for next season, because at the end we have this, I would call it a phoenix-like Titan coming out of a volcano. So that looks pretty promising. Overall, I enjoyed this season a lot.
Yeah, I came into season 2 as a newbie, as listeners will know, and as you two know. I hadn't seen season 1. I just saw a video on YouTube just catching me up on season 1. And jumped into season 2, and at the beginning, if listeners were paying attention, I was loving it, and you two, Kevin and Wendy, were both like, I don't know if the show is doing well. But yeah, I think it was. I really enjoyed this whole season. I thought it ended really powerfully, and I loved all the action. I love how the scene where Godzilla is chasing this Titan X, and then when it gets to Skull Island, Godzilla's like, "Okay, you go on. Kong will take care of you and put you where you belong. I'm going to swim away," and he just left. I just thought that was great. But yeah, there was a big battle with Kong, and then a lot of unrealistic stuff, of course. Like Keiko and Kate actually surviving at the down underneath the fighting of these two titans. I don't believe it at all, but it survived. It worked. But yeah, it was exciting, and I love the time travel aspects in this season. Not only last season we got Keiko back, having not lived as long as everybody else, because time travels, our time, is different there. It flows differently. But we also got this whole, radio thing, communications across time, between old Shaw and young Shaw. And then at the very end, young Shaw seeing this portal open and a rift open or whatever, and looking through it and seeing old Shaw and them seeing each other and him seeing Keiko in the future. And, that was pretty cool stuff. But yeah, that ending, setting up for another season, you got to imagine that they either shot that no matter what, or they shot that once they realized they had another season, just so they could kind of set something up, because this could have ended as a very good ending for the season. But I like how you guys talked about how season 1 didn't have enough Titans, and season 2 they made it the focus, this whole Titan X thing and following Titan X, so you were guaranteed to see some Titans, and that it tickled my funny bone, or my Titan bone. I was happy with it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was well done. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, much like you folks. I mean, I greatly enjoyed the season. I love Kurt Russell, almost everything he's done. So great to have him here, and turned into a strong supporting cast too. We didn't get a chance to get a lot of them in season 1, really. What I would say shine, but I definitely thought there was more of that in season 2. It was a little bit bumpy earlier in the season. But as Wendy pointed out very much, the showrunners, and the writers, get us our Titans in here, get us our creatures more than we teased in season 1. Just the even idea in season 1 was cool. But they paid it off big time in season 2. And yeah, the chances of people surviving at the feet of those, 0. But that's okay. It was kind of cool to watch it play out. It was that type of movie, only done as a TV show. So yeah, I thought it finished out very strong the last few episodes. Really did. A little too much of the brother, sister, and who's going to do what, and the dad and their dad, and it kind of settled it in, and we dealt more with a faster moving story and all. And I really, as you pointed out, Brent, I had that in my highlight in my notes, that episode 7 where he was talking to himself basically across time. That was just cool. All kinds of cool, and a little touch there at the very end to see each other. I think the show did a good job, very good job, between the riffs and how the different time periods, as well as how time flowed in each of them. They did just enough to make it interesting without getting themselves in trouble and writing themselves into a corner. So, yeah, great to enjoy. High recommend. Certainly anyone who's a fan of the Godzillas and those type of creatures. We don't have many shows like this, so definitely a strong thumbs up.
All right. Yeah, worth watching. Moving on. I'm going to talk a bit about Stranger Things Tales from 85 Season 1. Now, my co-hosts haven't seen this, so I'm going to be kind of spoiler light here. I just want to give it a kind of an overall review. I'm going to say that the show, it captured, by the end, I felt it really did capture the essence of Stranger Things. Okay, I'll put it that way. But at the beginning, I was a little unsure, because it looked like they were doing cookie cutter stereotypical stuff, like, oh, we've got to have this scene, we got to have this character, we got to have this. Like they were just checking all the boxes sort of thing. It didn't seem too original to me, but then again, it's not an original story, so it shouldn't. The voice work at the beginning was a little rough, and even by the end, I think the one playing Dustin, not a good fit vocally for that character at all. So even by the end of the show, I was still like, no, this guy doesn't work for Dustin. But it was a story that fit. They introduced some new characters. By fit, I mean fit between the seasons where they were trying to put it. They introduced some new characters that are kind of cool characters. They had almost a Wednesday Addams, Wednesday show sort of a plot line in this, and when you see it, you'll know what I mean by a Wednesday-like plot line, especially Wednesday season 1 plot line on this one, where we get a lot of fake outs and things. But the overall story is, without spoiling anything, it's basically just there are these creatures, but they're really kind of plant-like creatures that seem to be maybe from the Upside Down, or whatever that place is called, but not really. And there's a big mystery of trying to figure out where they're coming from. Of course, there's a lot of fighting, a lot of action. I think there was a little too much of L11 using her powers, because if you recall in the earlier seasons, she could use them very sparingly. But in this show, she uses them pretty much every episode. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I by the end of it, I was feeling, this feels like Stranger Things to me. It is filling a gap that we didn't see on screen, and it was fun. So that's most I can say about it. It was fun.
Well, that's good to hear. Stranger Things is one of my all-time favorite shows, and I thought they stuck to landing, and I greatly enjoyed it. This came out so soon after it, it's almost like I wanted a breath between things, especially where it wasn't the original cast for voices. I think I can be okay with that, but again, I think this is one I will watch at some point, but I'm probably just going to wait a while for once I get a little distance and I kind of miss it a little bit. Instead of doing a rewatch, I may jump to this. So appreciate hearing your thoughts, though, Brent.
Yeah, this was when the trailer came out, I think we talked about it. I was like, I don't know if I need to watch more Stranger Things or not. That wasn't the actors playing the characters. So I'm glad to hear that it was good. And like I said, I'm putting it back on my list.
Yeah. A little bumpy start at the beginning, but overall pretty good. You don't need to see it as a Stranger Things fan, but it was fun. It was worth spending time. All right, Kevin, One Piece, Season 2, go.
Right on the spot. I spoke about the first half of Season 2 in a previous podcast several weeks back. So I've since finished Season 2, quick reviews, very much enjoyed it. I thought we did a good job in Season 2 kind of building up, and I thought it plateaued a bit right around just past the midpoint. In other words, I was hoping it would really keep going on a higher trajectory. Don't get me wrong, I greatly enjoyed it, but it did kind of maybe slow down a little bit. But they were also introducing some new big characters that are very beloved for folks who are fans of the original source material. So it's one of those ones where from a distance, okay, I get it. We had to bring some of these characters in. The one thing they do spend a decent amount of time in that I'm not a huge fan of, there's lots of backstory. But again, when you've got a property that's got just, hundreds, from what's been done in print and on screen before, I get it, So it's not that it hurts it, but for me, and I do this across almost all the shows I watch, I do think most shows spend too much time with backstory stuff. Maybe that's because I've watched so many shows by now, there's only so many type of backstories you're going to get. But I still greatly enjoyed it. This shall we say, ragtag crew that has come together. I really enjoy them. They all have their quirks. They all help the team in a different way. They all have their flaws. So it's interesting that way. You do. And some of the folks on Discord, even before I had started to watch the show, had mentioned that, it's very much you're watching it for the characters. But they also go to some very entertaining spots that, again, all come from the original source material. The costuming, the look, the voice work of the characters, everything is over the top and big and all. And you have to, if you go in on that, then you're going to enjoy this a lot more than if you think there's any realistic thing happening with what happens, since several of the characters, including our leads, have unusual powers with them. But they also have so much fun too. I mean, what can be seen as a small thing that I got really into as they were going along is in each episode, the title card that comes up, as the episode's beginning, the show One Piece, they change them in each episodes with some little bits of who you're going to be seeing in this episode, of those characters or the location, just enough to make it unique and also kind of give you a little tease if you're someone who knows what's coming. So, they do a good job at doing that. So definitely enjoyed the show. I wouldn't say like it's one of my absolute favorites, but it's certainly very entertaining and it's fun. I spread out watching these partly for that reason, that this was a good show to watch kind of when you wanted to kick back and relax or have a smile. You weren't looking for heavy plot like that. You just were like, oh, I want to go back and spend some time with some fun characters. And that definitely happened with what's going on here. So very much on board for when we get season 3. I hope Brent, doesn't sound like Wendy has shown much interest. Brent's got a little, because it would be fun to be talking, what's happening in these episodes. It's that kind of a show where you can go, did you see what happened there? Yeah, that was kind of crazy, kind of deal. So entertaining. Appreciate the folks, too, on the Discord who have been talking this up for a couple of years now since it originally premiered. So that's an indication where I love to get the recommendations.
Yeah, I haven't been as interested. I might get interested, Kevin. We'll see what you and Brent can dust you can sprinkle to get me to put it higher priority, but I'm glad you've been enjoying it, and so many of our listeners on Discord.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to, like I said, I have the desire. It's a matter of finding time and remembering when I have time. But definitely it's a show I want to catch up on, so looking forward to it. All right. Wendy's going to lead our discussion on The Miniature Wife.
Yeah, and I know Brent's still watching it, so I'm not going to go into a ton of spoilery details, but full disclosure, I love Matthew McFadden, who played Les, the scientist. So that was definitely more of a draw than the premise of the story for me to watch it. I thought it was fun. He becomes basically, it's kind of similar to things like the War of the Roses, although these two actually, they started out being in love, and over time they become more competitive with each other. And they really are competitive people. The wife wanted a Pulitzer Prize, and she actually got one out of her first novel. So, they sort of had an agreement that one person gets to chase their dream, and then the other one supports, as they chase their dream. So the husband has been chasing his science dream of miniaturizing food and seeds so that he can feed the world. So that was his motivation for creating this miniaturization technology. And he's been at it a while. He finally finds a backer, and he has to make a choice between this dream and going on a holiday vacation with his wife that's supposed to sort of reset their marriage. And of course they have a big fight, and she gets miniaturized out of it, and they have an exact replica of their house in a doll house, which Lindy, the wife, ends up living in for quite a bit of it. They also have a teenage daughter who's about to go off to college, and she's got her own issues, and Lindy has a crisis going on because she hasn't been feeling great about herself, and she was sort of, I'll say, flirting with actually a colleague of the husband's, who, in his unrequited love, found a manuscript that he thought she had written, but it was actually written by a student. But he sent it to be published, and so it got published, and now she's caught up in this plagiarism storyline, and she has a very funny relationship with her editor. So the characters are very interesting besides the problem of the wife, and for quite a bit of the story, it's the husband trying to figure out how to restore her. There's a lot of comic relief between him and his assistants, between the guy who's basically the venture capitalist who is funding him, but he's funding him to also sell the technology to the military. So as time goes on, the relationship becomes very strained about, the purposes of this technology. And one of the things I very much enjoyed about Elizabeth Banks' performance as well as Lindy was, as time goes on, she's tiny, but she gets very strong. And that's actually something they say in the show. So, it's not focused on the shrinking part, but it's absolutely a metaphor for times in which people might feel small in their life or overwhelmed by things around them. And it's got some very, I would say, real dynamics between a husband and a wife that get very edgy at times. So I enjoyed it. I'm not sure that there's a story for season 2 that would be a genre story, but it was enjoyable overall.
Yeah, for me, my viewing of this, what I found interesting, once we saw that it was coming, and I said, okay, I'll give this a chance. I watched the first episode, didn't like it. I gave some thought to saying, okay, that, kind of busy viewing schedule, that didn't hit much, not that funny, not that interested, as you pointed out, Wendy, kind of a War of the Roses. I'm like, okay, I'm not up for this fight back and forth, but I'm like, okay, they haven't even gone to the genre part yet. I got to at least give it a couple episodes. And like, as the second episode, I'm like, okay, I laughed a little more. This is a little more interesting. As you said, that they bring in some additional characters. There are some very quirky and funny and interesting side characters that come out more as the show goes. So I found that as I watched a few more episodes, I was liking it more. I was more interested in, okay, what are the two of them going to do? How are they going to deal with this? And it's interesting when I look on IMDb and look at the ratings for the episodes, they go up throughout the entire run. And that makes perfect sense, really. I think the actors, the writers kind of really found the characters and some of the funny bits and some of the, emotional bits or interesting bits or metaphors, as you said. So it became much more enjoyable with a very good cast bringing it out. So is it a great show that I'm going to be, telling everybody to watch? No, but someone mentions it, I'm going to light up a bit and tell them, about some funny bits and recommend that they give it a watch. I think it's a one and done because it's a self-contained story there. So, but, stranger things have happened as far as shows returning. But no, if it's one you have any interest because of the actors or the premise, just realize you probably want to give it at least a couple of episodes before you're making a decision, because it's not, in my opinion, at its best in the first 2 or 3.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. It's another example where you have, I would say, unlikable characters that are going to go on a journey, and you have to find reasons to want to go on the journey other than liking them. And to your point about side characters, I didn't mention. So Ronnie Chung plays the venture capital guy, the money guy, and he's hilarious. If you've ever seen him on The Daily Show, he's very funny. He has a very characteristic style. But his number 2 assistant was hilarious. And when she first started, I was like, this is like an extreme version of Scully, was my thought about her. She's, and has a very interesting relationship with Les and with some of the other characters, where it's like that. It's almost like workplace comedy in the lab that I definitely enjoyed.
All right, cool. Well, I think we're going to talk now about The Boys. Our first time talking about this final season of The Boys, and I think here's what one thing I want to say overall before I dive into more recent stuff happening in the show. It has a lot of sex and gore, but I think it does a better job in this season of actually making it make sense for the story. Because one of our complaints about this show at some point around season 3, I think, it started getting just bloody and gory and sex stuff for no reason. It was just there. But here it all seems to fit in really, really well. I mean, from Firecracker, hanging out with Soldier Boy, in their pillow talk stuff, that made sense. The gore that we got in one shots, especially the hilarious gore where Soldier Boy is letting Jared Padalecki's character, Mr. Marathon, kill all the other people in the house by having him run through them. Akin to what we saw at the very beginning with A-Train killing Huey's girlfriend. That was absolutely hilarious. Lots of gore, lots of blood, but hilarious. And all the cameos from, actual people in Hollywood and stuff getting killed by Mr. Marathon. I love the bit where Soldier Boy is like, all right, look, you two, I'm going to get you out of here. You just got to do what I say. And then he says, okay, move. And he moves him right in front of Mr. Marathon's path. It was just hilarious. And then, I got a kick out of the whole Supernatural reunion actually ending in one episode. I mean, it kind of goes with the title of the show, One Shots, or the title of the episode, One Shots. These two actors, Jared and of course the one who played our Misha Collins, who played the angel on Supernatural. They're in here for one shot, and then they both die. I found it very interesting that Misha's character, Malchemical, had the ability to knock Homelander out. Thought that was pretty impressive. And then, of course, when they asked Soldier Boy, hey, kill him, finish it. We'll all be free, and we'll just have fun times again. He finally realized, this is my kid, man. I don't like him. But he's mine. I'm not gonna kill him. I'm not gonna let you kill him. I thought that was an interesting twist for him, and how he broke it off with Firecracker. But of course, that spelled Firecracker's doom at the end. And I look back on that whole final scene between Firecracker and Homelander and realized to myself that he was going to let her go. She had two opportunities there to just walk away and live, and she just kept pressing. Because she didn't want to, I guess, leave the inner circle or something. Because by the time she went to see him, it was pointed out to somebody else. Somebody else was watching, reacting to it, and pointed out that by that point in time, she had thrown away the little Jesus action figure. She had fully committed her faith to Homelander. So she didn't want to give it up. She had just given up her lifelong faith. She'd given up the pastor that raised her like a father. She'd given up all of that, and she didn't want to give up this because she'd finally committed to it. So she kept trying to press and tell him and that she loved him and all of that. But the final thing that, of course, made him kill her was the whole, even gods need love sort of thing. I think it was, to him, he saw that as a weakness, and he didn't want other people knowing that he had that weakness. So he's like, no. And he just basically slammed her head through an eagle wing. It was kind of creepy. How even though the eagle wing was sticking through her brain, her eyes kind of turned to Homelander one last time. That was kind of creepy. But it was very well done. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that she's dead now, which is sad because I really liked Firecracker. And I found a cool link, and maybe I'll throw it in here in the show notes or something, to an interview with the actor where she talks about that whole final bit and how she got to that point. Valerie Curry is her name. And how she knew all along when they brought her in as a character. They said, you will be killed by Homelander. It is going to happen. And she was really shocked that it took that long. She thought it was going to happen a lot sooner. But yeah, it's good. I like the way it's going. Even the stuff, with the rebels. What I'm trying to say is I've been talking a lot about the Vought people, and because they're interesting this season again. But the Rebels, Butcher's crew, they have interesting stuff happening this season too, but, interestingly, not as interesting as the stuff we've had with the others. Of course, we've lost A-Train this season. He was killed by Homelander. Homelander seems to be taking them all out. And how soon till Black Noir gets killed, is a question. Or the Deep. I really wanted Black Noir to kill the Deep. I wanted him to kill the Deep and tell Homelander that he was, a traitor, or that he was, he'd come up with all sorts of excuses that might work for Homelander. Black Noir is an actor. He could keep his heart rate under control probably and really sell it to Homelander. I was hoping he would, but he didn't so far. But actually, I kind of want the Deep to die. I don't want Black Noir to die. Black Noir seems like a good guy. So. Anyway, I'll let you guys talk. I thought it's been a pretty good five episodes so far.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar spot with you, Brent. As you said, and we touched on multiple times, they didn't go overboard with the blood and guts and sex as they've done in the past. It's more in the story of what's going on here, and it is some interesting bits of the Butcher's crew versus Homelander or Vought, and that circle around both of them. It seems like we've gotten more time with some of these characters, and maybe, to be able to appreciate them or see where they're going to go on their journey, and knowing this is the final season, wondering who will make it to the end. And my ratings were very consistent, like watch it soon's for all the episodes, because I didn't think any were great. I didn't think any were, bad in the sense of, didn't like that. So they've done a good job of building it. I'm very curious now in the back half, the last 5, what's going to happen. I mean, we know Homelander is out there mentally. So is he going to snap and this just turns into him against the entire planet? Or, or as you said, is some of the underlings going to somehow come together in line with Butcher and his crew? I don't know, which is a good thing. I'm going to be interested. And now knowing we're not going to get any more Gen V, I mean, we do have the Soldier Boy spinoff, I think, a couple of years away. I'm curious how it all comes together and wraps up. So, yeah, it's doing good this season again.
Yeah, my only, my main thing is they kind of just hit the same jokes too many times. And the one I'm thinking about is the dog. And it's, humping the Homelander puppet or doll or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, I didn't need to see that like 3 times or however many times they've done it across the season, but they've definitely improved from prior seasons in terms of the gratuitous sex and gore. It definitely feels like they're laying a lot of track for the Soldier Boy prequel or whatever it's going to be called, which I appreciate. I think Jensen Ackles is playing that character really well. I was very surprised, though, that he didn't turn on Homelander, because he knows the threat that he is to him. He's tried to, Homelander's tried to box him out a few times, and he clearly despises his son. So that was a surprise. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop about what his plan is. Firecracker put herself in a terrible position, when you'll do anything to be next to power, don't be surprised when they turn on you. The other thing that's interesting is the Sage finally reveals her plan, which is to take everybody out so she can have a quiet place to read whenever she wants. And maybe Ashley is going to team up with her. Maybe the boil in Ashley's head is going to, and maybe not Ashley. That will be interesting to see how it goes. I can't wait for the Deep to be killed by somebody. Maybe Marie or somebody. Or Starlight. It was really well done. I do want to go back to Firecracker for a second, because the actor did a great job when she had to, sell the false story about her pastor. And basically that was, her complete betrayal of herself for Homelander. They've mentioned Marie a few times because her powers with the blood, I assume, is going to be necessary, assuming they find the V1 with, I'm forgetting his name. It's like Bomb Maker or something. The guy who actually probably has it. I did enjoy the Supernatural cast reunion. Although Misha Collins didn't have as much to do in it as I had hoped. I also thought the writers around the table, Seth Rogen and others, were very funny. That was fun for a brief moment. And I agree, Brent, with your comment about how the Butcher crew has just not been that enjoyable to be around, because they're all in conflict with each other or sort of conflict with each other. You know, you have Huey and Starlight, on again, off again, Frenchie, and I'm forgetting the woman who used to be mute. I'm forgetting her name, but, you know, she's maybe going to turn on Frenchie. I'm not sure. There's just a lot of angst amongst that team so far, but I'm still intrigued on how they're going to resolve this story and if they're going to really be able to kill Homelander or not, and who's going to do it.
If Homelander dies, which I think he has to, honestly, I don't think there's any other way they can successfully end this story. The Homelander era has to end, and he has to die for that, I think. There's no way to rob him of his powers. If there would be, they haven't been hinting at it, and that would be a wonderful way for it to end, but I don't think it will. It's going to have to be Soldier Boy, even though he's had his second thoughts and he says he doesn't want to kill him, but it's going to have to be almost. And that's the only way it can be, and then all the rest of the soup still live, because if they use the virus, it's going to wipe everybody out. So I got to imagine Soldier Boy is going to be the one to kill him.
Makes sense.
That said, I guess we're going to move on to our movie that Kevin and I enjoyed and Wendy hasn't yet seen. Mike and Nick and Allison. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, so as we talked very briefly back in Water Cooler, this was, for me, a pleasant surprise in terms of the enjoyment and quality for this one. Again, not earth-shattering, but as we said, you're looking for, I think it was around 90 minutes or 100 minutes long. A little escape, a little fun, little genre hook. This certainly can be an enjoyable movie. Available currently on Hulu. It's funny, we weren't sure. We kind of called it a mashing of a lot of different genres, and I noticed, since we're talking about that, the movie poster for it, kind of the tagline that they used to pull it all together is that it's a time-traveling, double-crossing, ass-kicking comedy, which, okay, I'll go with that. But the fact they've got some time travel in here, so we have two Vince Vaughn characters, therefore to go with the movie title, is excellent. His wife, that has her issues with him. The other guy, part of his crew here, played very well by James Marsden, is excellent. It's got a little bit, as I think Brent mentioned, a little John Wick action stuff. They do some really good job with the action scenes. The storyline, kind of in terms of how they're all together and where they're trying to go, works. You've got several other recognizable faces that you might enjoy. Folks like Keith David, Emily Hampshire. I was not sure how to pronounce her last name. That was absolutely brilliant on 12 Monkeys. Is a little more basic, shall we say, in this one, but she's in here with the fun part too. So it's just an enjoyable film to see a little bit of time travel used to create two versions of the same person in the crime world, and a reason why they're trying to fix some things that happen with the crime lord and all. It's not like I'm going to spoil something big here, but I'm just kind of saying it's enjoyment to sit down and watch some actors across the board who do a good job. Throw in some fun bits that'll make you chuckle, little genre stuff to tie it together, and it doesn't need to be much more than that.
Yeah. You pretty much summed it up. But the you got me to watch this by saying there's time travel in it, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to check it out. There's time travel in it, and sure enough, at the very beginning, it had a very similar premise to a movie I saw, a lower budget movie. I don't remember its name. I saw it a few years back, where somebody was making a time machine in their basement, somebody on a shoestring budget sort of thing, and then some criminal elements got a hold of it and went back in time. It's very similar setup, totally different execution. One thing about this one was, and you could kind of guess it based on the name actors who were involved, but the production quality was very top notch. I mean, it was great acting, good writing, very good writing, direction, editing was crisp, all of it was good. Pacing was well done. I think the reason I said it's not like mind-blowing great or anything is it didn't really break anything. It was all, they used a lot of the best stuff of things that have already happened, is what I'm trying to say, which made it very entertaining. It just wasn't something that your jaw dropped or anything on. But I really enjoyed it. I liked how it ended, setting up the potential of a sequel. I was a little upset that James Marsden's character is the only one who went through the time machine, the second time machine, at the end to go back and fix fix the death of her husband and his friend. And I did also like because I thought it would be both of them, because they were both going to the time machine, and if he's the only one that goes back, then she won't know that he's from the future or anything that happened. So why didn't they both go in together? That doesn't make any sense. Or maybe she followed later through the time machine to the same place. But if the time machine, if they're trying to change the past, I guess that time machine would be there even if they save our I guess the hero's death. And it was really interesting where the time travel aspects of it too, where they're on this whole thing about whatever happens in the past happens in the future sort of thing, where she stabbed him to test a theory. Thought that was hilarious. She just walks up and stabs him and says, well, maybe the one from the future's got a scar. And sure enough, he's got a scar. So he lived through that. So I was also, as soon as he was dying in the back of the car, I was like, okay, are they going to do a Back to the Future where he starts to fade away if he dies? Or is he just going to vanish? And they had him just vanish. As soon as he died, the future version just vanished because he never lived to go into the past. But then there's that whole paradox. If he never lived to go into the past, how did any of this happen? Sort of thing. But we'll wave your hands, which you have to do a lot with time travel. But the action was top notch. A lot of great stuff. A lot of funny bits. Why'd you have to shoot the DJ? And the son of the bad guy jumping out the window, and actually, I love the realism of that, because if you jump through a real glass window, it's going to cut you up, and likely kill you. You can't just do that. And sure enough, he jumps through a glass window, and he's got this cuts all over, and he's got a big shard of glass in his neck. So I thought that was well done too. It's one of the things where I kind of smile and nod and say, "Yeah, you did it right." It's not a stupid Hollywood thing. So. Even though the premise was not very realistic, time travel and all that, but it was a fun movie. Yeah, I enjoyed it, Kevin. Thanks for letting me know about it.
Yeah, no, that's why I definitely wanted to mention on the podcast, because this is definitely going to be under the radar for a lot of folks, because it's not like I saw a lot of promotion in different spots. I also really liked, Brent, the when they was sending the big contract killer after him.
Yeah. And
they instead had the other guy come instead, who was totally not him. And I thought the
Stapler guy from Office Space, right?
Yes.
Stephen Root or whatever his name is.
I thought they did a great job with the comedy of that aspect of it, with him coming there. And then when we do get the real killer, played by Dolph Lundgren, who looks very imposing.
Yeah.
He's only there for like 2 minutes before they kill him off. So they had fun with it. Like we both said, hey, it's a fun movie. You don't think about it too hard. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, if you think about it too hard, there's some things that annoy me, like the inconsistencies of the fuses on grenades. Right, they throw the grenade in after the contract killer's two goons throw the grenade in. It takes they take many beats as he tries to explain to his girlfriend that there's a grenade, and she says, "Oh," and she runs over and grabs it and throws it back, and then it blows up. But later on, in the kitchen, our James Marsden's character takes the grenade out of the fridge, pulls the pin, throws it, and it blows up in like a second.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things to nitpick.
Convenient timing, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the show, guys. Thank you for being here, Kevin and Wendy, and for all of you for listening. And thank you for being patient with us. We have a lot of scheduling issues these days, it seems. I'll catch you next time.
Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
If you'd like to contact us here at Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, we offer a wide variety of feedback options, including email at feedback@tuningintoscifitv.com, our voicemail at 706-927-8478, on Skype voicemail at Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, or you can visit our website at tuningintoscifitv.com to find the link to our forums, or to use the SpeakPipe widget to leave us a voice message. You can also find us on Twitter at twitter.com/tuningintosci-fi, or on Facebook at facebook.com/tuningintosci-fi TV.
The theme music for Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV is by Beatnik Turtle, used with permission. You've been listening to Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, episode 688, recorded May 2nd, 2026.